Now, I want us to look at classification of matter. Let's see how we can classify matter. If I take matter itself, the first thing is that it can either be solid, liquid, or gas, as we have explained already. But under this, we can have pure substances and impure substances, or pure matter and impure matter. Now, what are the pure substances or pure matter? Normally, they are the ones that God created himself, or sometimes the ones that we can also create by ourselves by making sure that nothing goes into that substance. I'm talking about pure substances. Pure substances, you can have them to either elements, or you can have compounds. Elements are substances, the chemical substances that God created himself. We came to meet them in this world. And every time scientists discover new elements, and they are pure because they were created by God. Okay? If you say lithium, and you get only lithium, it is purely lithium. Here, I stand here, I'm seeing copper metal, purely copper. Unless someone, a scientist, decide to mix it with something. This is pure copper metal. This is pure aluminum metal. The environment has had some effect on it because of chemical reaction that takes place in the environment. But when we grow, we understand why the color is changing. But ideally, this is supposed to be a pure aluminum metal. I have here sugar. That is pure sugar. Okay? But sugar is not an element. This one is pure copper. Copper. The sample being copper metal. Now that one is aluminium. But sugar is not just one element. It's a mixture of elements that have come together to form that compound. But it is pure. Okay? So we have pure substances either being an element or what? A compound. Again, this one, sugar, God also created it. They are in various plants and we extract them. Very complex formula. When we grow, we're doing organic chemistry, we know the formula for sugar and all that. This is also pure salt, the table salt that we use in our kitchen. It is not just one element, it's a mixture of elements. So here we have compounds, elements, and we can say this can maybe hydrogen, this can be the copper, or it can be aluminium. Pure elements. When it comes to compounds, you can have some being water, you can have sugar, you can have salt, which is sodium chloride. These are all pure substances. Then we have impure substances or impure matter. Impure substances or but before I go there, let me define some of these terms for you so that in case you read and you come across them. Definition of an element. We say that an element is a substance that consists of the same kind of atoms that cannot be broken down further by chemical means. If I take that copper, all the atoms in this huge thing, copper, is only copper atoms. So the element is copper, and the atom in there is also called what? Copper atoms. If I take this aluminum metal, is the same thing. The atoms in the aluminum element are all aluminum atoms. So even if you try to break it further, you're only going to get atoms of aluminum. That is why we see that an element is a substance that consists of the same kind of atoms that cannot be broken down further into by any chemical means, unless you try to destroy it by some radioactive means or nuclear reaction. But compounds are not made of this, and compounds are substances that contain two or more atoms coming together. A compound is a substance formed by a chemical combination of two or more atoms. In the case of, I mentioned water. I didn't write even the word water. I wrote it in, I wrote the chemical formula. Water is two atoms of hydrogen coming together with one atom of oxygen. That is water. When I take salt, for instance, salt is sodium and chlorine combining. So sodium chloride. Okay? Sodium chloride. Sugar, the simplest form, could also be C6H12O6. We have various forms of sugar. This could be one of the forms of sugar, glucose. So, okay? So that is a complex one, and can change the bonding and all that. So compounds could also be pure, but it involves a combination of two or more atoms. Now let's come to impure substances. Impure substances could be mixtures. We say it is a uniform. We have two types. Impure substances, we have two types. The first one is homogeneous mixture, and this one, the second, is heterogeneous. Heterogeneous mixture. Homogeneous means that you have a very uniform, you have two or more. I mean, homogeneous mixture, it is formed by a mixture between two or more substances, whereby one of the substances completely dissolves in the other. One substance completely dissolves in the other. For instance, if I take this beaker, I pour water in it, and I add sugar, a little sugar. You know it's already in the house from the house. When I shake, I get entirely the sugar dissolving in the water, and not find any particle of the sugar. It becomes one thing. But then, if you taste it, you see that, of course, there's some sweetness in it, telling you that the sugar has dissolved completely in the water. That is a uniform solution, or a homogeneous mixture. The same way, I could also get a salt solution, a homogeneous mixture. But we have heterogeneous mixture, where you have only partial portion of one of them dissolving in the other substance. For heterogeneous, it is a non-uniform mixture between two or more substances, whereby one of the substances partially dissolves in the other. What example can I show? Of course, I can show you water. I can show you water and oil. If I put oil here, no matter how I shake it, you only get a small portion of the oil dissolving in the water, and there will be a separation. You can try it in the house and see. The same way, if I mix this chalk with water, a portion of the chalk will be dissolved, but a large portion of it will not dissolve. It will form what, again, scientists call a suspension. Not all of it will dissolve. You see that it has become very cloudy. If I had time to grind it very well, you see, of course, I can see it even at the bottom. Some of the particles settling here, not dissolve in the water. But again, if I add this alcohol to water, you see a complete uniform solution. You see a complete uniform solution. So matter first can be classified into solid, liquid, or gas. Apart from this, we have pure substances and we have impure substances. The pure substances, we have elements, and then we have what? Compounds. Elements solely by nature, natural, created. Compounds, some are created by nature, and we can also artificially, by human beings, by science, we can add some elements together to give us given compounds that we can use and apply in science. So we have elements and compounds. I'll give you examples of the compounds. The compounds are substances where you have two or more atoms coming together to form one compound. Then we have the impure matter or impure substances. We have homogeneous mixtures and we have heterogeneous mixtures. Homogeneous mixtures are where you add two or more substances together and you get one of them completely dissolved in the other, so that you have a very uniform mixture. Very uniform mixture. For homogeneous, the key word there is that you must have a uniform mixture and one dissolved completely in the other. For heterogeneous, you have a non-uniform mixture. One of it will dissolve only partially in the other, and so there will be a separation. Okay, you see, if it is solid, you see some particles still settling in the solvent. So that is heterogeneous substance. So any of this would take either a solid state, liquid state, or a gaseous state. So that is the initial definition and knowledge about matter. Thank you for coming along with me in this video. We are going to go on to the second video, and that will still be on matter. Don't stay away.